Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Iris and this is Bradford with Edward Jones. We'll be talking about finances today. So Bradford, welcome. And so I had one question for you. So it's kind of a three-part. So tell us three things that you would love to have in a home if you were to buy a home right now.
Ooh, great question. First off, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, of course.
Three things that I want in a home.
Yeah.
I want a massive bathroom.
Okay.
Massive bathroom with like double showers, the whole
Nice.
nine. Just kind of like walk in, maybe a glass door, maybe not.
Maybe no door.
Yeah, maybe no
I've
door.
seen those.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those that look really nice, or just like the walk-in. You know what I mean? Like
Yes, the walk-in ones.
Massive shower back. So yeah, that's big for me. And I think it almost kind of goes without saying the kitchen too. I need to have a massive island.
I love that. Yeah. Do you like to cook?
I love to cook.
Okay, nice.
Love to cook. Well, attempt is a better way.
Attempt.
Yeah.
You're trying. And what's the third thing?
My third thing,
if you have one.
If I like, I love a man cave, but I don't want that to be my third thing. My third thing, I'd like for it to be like a hidden pantry. I've seen that like a little bit.
Okay, like with the slide out cabinet kind of.
No, so like almost like you have a pantry and then like behind something there's like a, you know what I mean? There's like a big new hidden like bigger closet on in a sense, right? Like I've seen some that are just like massive where you could almost have another bedroom back there.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, I did not expect the pantry, but yeah, I mean, if you like to cook or attempting to, at least have all your goodies back there hidden. You know,
for sure.
That's awesome. So, what is the best and the worst thing about what you do on your in your job day to day?
Okay, good question. So I'm a financial advisor at Edward Jones. The best thing that I do for like every day is talk to people, right? And build relationships and help people reach their goals.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a bad part of like what I do outside of maybe you're always on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like that's probably the worst part is like I'm always on and anybody could potentially be a client, but
true.
The good outweighs the bad all the time.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of how it is with my job. It's just it's always on. You're always go. You know, you always know. You never know when you're going to run into somebody, right? So
exactly.
Always gotta keep the look. You know. I don't know if you have that same problem.
No, that is so accurate, right? Because it's like no matter where you are, you can only make a first impression once.
Exactly.
And then, especially, right, being a realtor, it's one of those things where anybody could be your client. You never know who's going to buy or sell or be in the market.
Yeah. Anybody that needs to live inside, right, indoors. Anybody that wants a roof, really. That's what,
That's what,
Yeah.
We have a lot of overlap with that, right?
Yeah, I know.
Anybody that makes money and needs money and wealth stuff.
Has a job, right?
All good stuff.
Yeah, wants to invest a little bit or a lot.
Exactly.
Is there anything else that you want to say about that?
Yeah. So
tell us a little bit about
Yeah, for sure.
Finances.
So for me, I always like to make sure that like my clients are in a position of success, right? And like what is success for them individually. So, just like many different people want different size homes or have different things that they're looking for, that's kind of the same thing for me in like my space. So I really make sure that I take the time to kind of get to know them and like what it is that they want, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
So that kind of ranges into big, small, everything in between, but really it's just how do I get to know my clients to make sure that I'm taking care of like all their needs?
Yeah.
I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. That makes a lot of sense because you come from the lending business. You already know what they need and what, kind of what you already know about the numbers and everything that they need in order to buy that next home or the first home, right? So
exactly.
And that's awesome. That is a big thing with what your background helps you, to help more people. I feel like, right?
Yeah, for sure. And that's honestly one of the value adds that I like to
Right. I think that's a
that
good
I like
one.
to mention, right?
Yeah.
Because it's, if that is a lot of people's goals is home ownership, right? Or how do I save or how do I invest to properly be able to buy and spend the money that we're saving, right? Not everything should be for retirement. There's different things that, we want, whether that's a car, home, all of it's connected, right? So that's why it's important to work with somebody.
Yeah. Right. Somebody that knows their stuff, like Bradford here. And also, I wanted to see, do you have anything funny that's happened in your, in your career, or an interesting story that you're allowed to talk about?
Oh yeah. Compliance, earmuffs.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. I know there's, compliance.
Oh my gosh. Something super funny that's happened in my career. We're gonna have
or
to,
interesting. We can come back to it.
We may have to come back to that. I'm just like,
yeah. I get it. This is completely, I'm surprising him with that. So he had no idea it was coming.
I do want to get back to that because I'm sure it's like, once the camera's off, it's like, oh, this is so much fun. This is what happened.
Like a few hours later, you'll think about it and you'll be like, hey, I just thought of something.
I'm literally gonna call you.
It literally happened. So, Bradford, if there was a tip that you would want to give the audience about anything, whether it's real estate, finances, anything, what would that be?
Ooh, good question. Start.
Okay,
I would
that's
say,
a good one.
I think so, right?
Simple,
that's kind of clever, right? So no, let's not try and reinvent the wheel here, right? But I honestly think it's start, right? Like there's no time like the present, and there's never there's no amounts too little, right? Anytime that you're trying to reach your goals, you have to start. Like procrastination isn't one of those things. Like if you just wait till I'm ready.
Yeah. It never gets done.
When are you gonna be ready?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I would say start, whether it's and what you're comfortable with, but also challenge yourself.
Yeah. Okay, that's a really good one. Simple, but so true. And I didn't even think of that one. Just one word. You're like, start. Go now.
Right. Yeah, do it. Especially like in the market too. So, the marketplace that we're in right now, everyone thinks that, the grass is greener on the other side and just waiting for rates to come down or waiting for the right perfect opportunity. And it's like, if you haven't started, you're not going to be in the right position if and when that does come up, right? So I think that's important.
That's a really good one. Okay. Yeah, I mean, not being in the right position for anything, really, if you never get out there and go make it happen, because nobody else is going to come and make it happen for you, right? Whether it's investing or buying your first home or the next one, anything like that. So that's a really good one. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah. Okay. Do you own your home right now?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
And how long ago did you buy that home?
Fortunately, I bought it in 2020.
2020, that's awesome. Yeah. That was okay. And so how were you, tell us a little bit about how you were able to buy that home, the time leading up to it, and how you were able to save some, for whatever you needed in order to buy that home, either the down payment or, how you got into that to be able to buy that home.
Yeah, I was very, very fortunate. I'm one of the individuals that got to stack up bread, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
And while I was actually living with my parents at the time. So it's kind of one of those, it's not sexy, but it gets the job done. So I was working and saving money, and I had an investment account that I was like, nice. I had, bought a couple of stocks and different things that I knew that could potentially help me in the long run.
Yeah.
And so honestly, I had a very, very big savings goal that I would take out of every paycheck and do this. If I'm gonna live at home or do these different things, and I know this isn't the long-term solution.
Right.
I don't want to do that. Yeah. I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
So at that time, it's just like, okay, out of these paychecks,
you're motivated.
Yeah, I'm motivated.
I want to get out of here.
I'm motivated. I'm doing it. And at that time, it's like you're really starting to see some big impacts when you're saving, $12.50 a month and things like that. Like that adds up, and you get a little bit of return on that, and that's how I got to a down payment. And thanks, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, I know. That's awesome. Seriously. And I was there too with living at home and saving up as much as I could so that I could buy that first property. So I completely understand that, it's, you got to do what you got to do.
You have to.
And if they're willing to help, then why not? Right.
Exactly.
So that's we were both very fortunate of that. So, and then, so what would be the next plan for you now? So you own your home now. Mm-hmm. Do you have some future plans that you want to get to as far as like, investments or owning more properties or what are the plans for the future?
Yeah. So that's a great question. We definitely want to own multiple properties.
Okay.
I love real estate. It's a big thing for me. It's that accumulates wealth amongst generations. Really, you can pass this down, right?
Exactly.
And different things. So we definitely want to have like multiple properties. I don't know if my wife knows this, but let's get a beach house or
she'll
a lake
find
house.
out.
She'll find out when she sees it. But yeah, so like a fun little second vacation home kind of thing. But we also are wanting to get into the big like luxury space and have that dream house for the kids and all that stuff. Yeah. So that's kind of the future plan.
The future plan. Right. So does she know the future plans? Or?
And she does know that.
Okay,
she does know that, but I don't think she knows about the... we talk about it. She's like, okay. Yeah. She just brushes it off like it's just
like it's a joke.
Like it's a joke. But I'm like, I'm serious.
When she sees it, she'd be like, oh, this is what you were talking about.
Yeah.
This is it. That's so funny. What did you want me to?
Well, no, also just kind of going back to that space of how, like, where to start, right? Like, kind of going back to what we were talking about, like, just starting. So, it's true. It was very intimidating. Like, obviously, you want to live in where I've lived in Georgia, like, pretty much my whole life, right? So, coming out of school, you want to kind of do this and, like, have the apartment and, like, be on your own and do that. So, it wasn't glamorous by any means, kind of doing what we did. But I also knew that early sacrifice would pay dividends in the long run.
True.
Right? And so now we have a bunch of equity in the house and, we're setting ourselves up for being able to accomplish those dreams.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a good thing that you got started when even before you actually made that step, took that step of buying your home, was you were starting to save that money, before when you were living at home and building that, that investment, whether it was in a savings account or maybe not spending it on just, cars and,
Exactly.
Because a lot of us will do that, cars and just going out to eat, really.
Yeah. My dad actually is kind of who I can credit to getting me into the finance space in general. Okay. And he always is saying, hey, we need assets, not liabilities.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
And so
my
at
gosh.
the end of the day,
that's like, a good dad.
It's a good dad.
Yeah.
And so, but at the end of the day, it's like it's so, sometimes we think that that's just so simple, which it kind of is, right? But it's like, what are you doing asset wise to make sure that you're setting you and your family or whoever it may be up for success?
Yeah.
Right?
Especially like the generational wealth, of buying property. And passing it down, any of that, or even just money, that you can hopefully one day give to your kids or grandkids or, building that wealth really is the biggest thing, right? So,
for sure.
And your dad knows that and you know that. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you're in that space. So
I am. But I think it's also cool and important to note that like, when you're going through this, you want to make sure that you do have like that emergency stuff saved because the last thing that we want is to, be in a situation where it's like, oh man, I don't have as much liquid cash to be able to do, if you're buying a home that may need repairs or different things outside of like, seller concessions or things like that, you still want to have like some good money to furnish the home, buy different things, you know what I mean? Like buy different things and then just also... not be wrapped up in the cash just strictly into the property, right?
Right. Yeah, that's the last thing we want you guys to do.
Maintaining a lifestyle, right? A lot of people, you got to still continue to maintain the lifestyle that you have. Yeah. Kind of live within your means, but that's why you save and invest in the things that you need to do.
Yeah, and that's why you hire a financial advisor, to help with your money, protect your money, and be able to get some investments or, figure out what to do with your money.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
See,
I
this
didn't
is
ask
why
you to
he's
say
here.
That.
No, he didn't. But, I figured, bringing him on here would give a little bit more insight about, everything, whether it's real estate or finances or anything that's going on in your minds about finances, because these are things that people don't talk about. If your parents don't know or they don't talk about it, they don't know what they don't know. And so like my parents, they didn't really know, besides saving, they didn't know that there was such thing that existed like a financial advisor, or where to put their money. It was just, some people put it under the mattress or in a lock, at home, or a savings account that doesn't bring much return, because they don't know what they don't know. So
exactly.
Yeah. So
They don't know where they don't know. And it's just one of those things that unless you reach out, you're not gonna, or have somebody that's looking out for your best interest,
Right.
or has a good experience with somebody, and that's kind of how that happens, right? You recommend those things, but it
So
really
true.
is. It's what I mean. Like it really is just important to kind of reach out and have those type of conversations. But money is emotional, right? And like those, so a lot of people, don't have maybe a good connotation with it, or some, it's all across the spectrum. Right.
Yeah.
And so when you start talking about somebody's money and finances and you start really getting into that, it's personal and it's emotional.
Right.
So
And
that's
people don't want to talk about it, right?
No, they're hesitant at first until you really until you show them how much you care, and
Exactly.
that my goals are to help you reach your goals.
Right. Yeah.
Whatever that may be. So.
Yeah. And that's the reason why you get to know them and you build that relationship and, build that trust. So, because we both know, we have to build that trust with you, and you have to like us and know us to be able to open up, especially about finances, credit score, all that good stuff that people don't like to talk about. So
it's a deep dive into what they've done.
Yeah. And
I
know, right?
Like,
how they manage the money.
How you manage your money. Like, I mean, you to get a
your
mortgage,
credit cards.
right?
Yeah.
You got to send statements and stuff like that, right? So people can look at it, and so you want to do that with somebody that you know and trust, and
exactly
has your best interest.
Yeah. So, what made you, I guess, go from being a lender and get into being a financial advisor?
Awesome question. So, it was really one of those things for me where, and we've kind of talked about this. It's like, for me, when I was a lender, I loved helping people, right? Like that's always still like what I enjoy doing. I help people all the time, right? But for me, a lot of that was kind of few and far between, or, you work very hard to kind of build relationships with other realtors or with your clients that you're doing mortgages for. But typically, after you're done with that mortgage, outside of maybe a happy birthday and just kind of checking in on them, like once that one transaction done, it's the biggest transaction that they've had, right? And until they're selling or moving, you're not really having repeat clients or individuals that you're necessarily keeping up with.
Right.
Outside of, just that, right? The happy birthdays,
every few months type of thing.
And all that. And so for me, it was just one of those things that I was a finance major in school and getting my MBA and all that after. But it's like, you know what? I've always enjoyed that relationship building piece. And, in the advising space, it's like, I have to be checking on you constantly, right? And so it's like you build those relationships and like they're long term, and I don't want to say stickier by any means, but it's just like they're long term, and you have a really, really big impact like for life, right? Like I want my clients like for life.
Yeah, like you're their financial advisor for life.
Yeah, I'm their financial
I love
advisor
that.
for life. So it was kind of one of those things where I've always loved the market. I've always loved rates and different things like that, and I've managed my portfolio since I was very young, and then just kind of making that move just made sense for me. And then just kind of building upon the relationships that I already have, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I love that. Yeah, I mean, you moved on to something bigger and better. That would help you with just somewhere where you were happier, right?
Yeah, and it was honestly. I prayed about it a lot, right? I'm very spiritual. I love being a Christian and what that embodies. And so I was actually at my office, right?
Yeah.
On a Friday afternoon, and this is like mid-COVID, right? Like, so there's not a ton of people in the office or anything, and so we're sitting there, and I'm like, I have my resignation letter like typed up,
What?
and it's just like in my hand.
Yeah.
It's like I signed it, but I'm like distraught. I'm like, this is kind of one of those things that like I like it here. I love everybody I work with. I like what I do,
Right.
but. So I just prayed about it and just said, hey, is this the right decision that I need to be doing? And I say all that just to preface the story of like my lights in my office have like never gone out or anything along those lines. And so after I was done praying with it, and just the lights go out of my office, right?
Wow.
And so it's like an answered prayer,
Whoa.
just saying, hey, this is what
Yeah,
I
it's
need
a
you
sign.
to be doing.
Yeah.
Truly, right?
Yeah,
And so it's
literally, like visually.
literally, and that was then I got the confidence to be like, wow, well, God has spoken.
Yeah.
right? Like this
He
is what I
spoke.
need. This is
Yeah,
what I need to be doing. So honestly,
wow.
it's like a really cool story that means a lot to me. Like that's kind of how I got
Yeah. Okay. I love that. I love that story. It's something that doesn't happen, like on a day-to-day basis. So that was like really, yeah.
It was impactful because for me, I like to like. I'm like, show me a sign, show me a sign.
Yeah.
And it's like, sometimes you do that and like you don't get a sign every day.
Exactly.
Right?
That's
and
what.
then,
That's what I'm
so
talking
I know
about.
That's kind of what you're talking about. So like this time when it actually happened and it was there, it's like, oh, he probably knows I wouldn't have done it if
if you didn't actually get like
so like that was
visually.
a good nudge. That was like confirmation. Like.
Yeah, like go for it. Do it. Like that's gonna make you happier, and he knows, so
got a plan.
Yeah, and now you know too, and you're happy, right? Yeah,
very, very happy. Right?
That's awesome.
It's good.
Wow, that's an amazing story. Actually, I hadn't heard this story before this.
First time. I don't really tell it often. It's just one of those things that if it comes up, then great.
Yeah,
I love it, and it's just it's a big part of me.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate that, and that's an amazing story. And I know you will remember that forever because it's so impactful. Sure. Yeah,
I will never forget that.
I know, right? Well, that's awesome. So, if people want to reach out to you, where can they find out about you?
Oh yeah, you can go to my website, bradfordmattox.com, and then also hopefully that directs you to my Edward Jones website. Compliance.
Yeah.
So edwardjones.com, and then it's Bradford-Mattox, and I'm Mattox. So you can also reach out to the office or cell, whatever works for you guys. I'm readily accessible. So email, all kinds of stuff.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, it was nice having you. Thank you for all the amazing conversations.
This has been fun. This has been fun. Thank you so much. Now I'm like, I want to interview Iris now. So, ask all the questions.
Yeah, I know, right? We'll have to do that. We'll
flip that up. So that was fun. Thank you so much for having me. It really was a good time.
Yeah, thank you for coming, and thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned for the next one. I'm sure we'll be having Bradford again sometime soon.
I would love to come back. Yeah,
so all right, guys, we'll talk to you soon.
See ya.